What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow based off what the charts are showing and based off what the data is suggesting. I'm also going to break down what the CPI report said that's very important for the markets and how this may affect the markets as well going forward. Now, before I break anything down about NIO, talk about why this thing does have the potential to make a nice move for tomorrow. I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NEO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is any of these 12 free stocks could be a free NIO share, a free Tesla share, or a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer that ends in just 2 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at NIO, this thing is currently down about 0.85% for the day. I actually released a video earlier today talking about how NIO could take a big hit. However, something unexpected happened, and that is Apple and Microsoft started to see a lot of buying pressure really step in and really push them to the upside, which led to the SPY pushing up, followed by a squeeze-like move. So we saw the market kind of see this squeeze-like move, and this did help NIO push up a bit, but NIO did not have enough juice in itself to actually push to the green side. So NIO did get a nice push, but it wasn't enough, and overall we were still kind of red for the day. Now, the thing about NIO, and one of the things that's very significant about it is it has a tendency of being delayed when it comes to when it gets that big run up after the market ends up getting it. So, what's going on with the data? What could happen in the future, and how could this affect NIO? In my previous video, guys, I talked about the fact that CPI was not necessarily expected to be good. 8.1% was the expectation. We got 8.2%, so it was higher than expected. And core CPI was 6.6%, which is very bad entirely. Now, if we look at the data overall, almost everything went up. We saw a couple of things go down in September, such as energy. We saw gas prices come down a bit. But besides that, almost everything went up except a couple of things. And overall, it just still was not that good. Looking at the charts side by side, we basically got a repeat of last month's CPI, except core CPI was worse. The increase was much worse. So comparing the charts, you could see there's a downtrend in the overall inflation. However, it was higher than expected. But what's not good is when you exclude food and energy, because the only reason why CPI is coming down a bit from a month to month basis is because energy, that's like the main reason energy is coming down. Gas prices dropped in the month of September. But what's concerning is they are starting to go up right now. Now, if we ignore food and energy, if you look at the purple line, there's an uptrend, which means that everything else is still going up in value, which shows that inflation hasn't truly peaked just yet. Now, looking at another piece of data on a month to month basis, we are still seeing core CPI coming up, not in the best of states for the markets. Now, this in turn is incentivizing the Fed to actually be more hawkish, and big reports are coming out saying that the Fed may have to give us a 75 basis point rate hike very, very soon. This means that the Fed may have to raise rates in a more hawkish manner during the next FOMC meeting in November, and this could lead to a big change very, very soon. So, with that said, guys, one of the things I mentioned in my videos is the fact that historical data gives us a good idea of what could end up happening. And during almost all of these CPI reports, which were bad, the market has a tendency of coming down pretty hard. Now, what else is interesting is August was one of those times where we cooled off a bit. That's why the market started to rally a bit in August. But then after that, it continued to come down. And that's the reason why I was very, very concerned about what this data could really do to us. So what happened was the data was horrible, right? And historically, for the past year, every time the data was horrible, the market ended up crashing. And that's why I was very concerned. I was very worried. I even gave you guys a warning video in the very beginning about NIO. NIO could come down, and we did see a big crash in NIO down to $11.95. NIO touched the 11s again. However, and this is something that was unexpected for most investors. However, we saw big money come in, buying into Apple and Microsoft, continuing to push more and more, continuing to buy. We saw this big rally continuing in the markets. If you look at the SPY's chart on the daily, it's crazy. Look at this daily candle. Do you guys see this? This is insane. This thing moved like almost $20 in a day. Absolutely insane price action. Just to make this clear, we came down super hard to 348. That's like an $8 drop. Then from 348, we went all the way up to a high of about almost 368. So $20 up almost. And this is not necessarily a penny stock. This is not something like NIO moving. This is the SPY. This is tracking the S&P 500. That's mind-boggling. Like, I've never seen a day where this happened. That is the craziest volatility I've seen. And this shows how powerful these market makers and institutions really are, and how on earth a squeeze like move can actually affect the markets, because that is what we essentially saw. So as a result of this, there is a potential for the SPY to continue to push up if volume remains high and strong. If we get lots of good volume, lots of buying pressure, the SPY has the potential to fill one of its big gaps. We actually have a gap. Let me show you where the gap is. And this is important for NIO, because if SPY pushes up and fills this gap at about 373, we got to break past 370 first. If we do that, the whole market could continue to rally. It's also important to note that historically, if we look at history, during these midterm elections, right, the market tends to drop as we approach the month of October. In October, we tend to come down a bit. Then near mid-October, the market has a tendency of pushing up a bit. All right, so it's very possible we're about to see the midterm election rally. Now, I don't want to count on this 100%, guys. I'm not guaranteeing this will happen, because we have to be cautious regardless of this. And we have to be well aware of what the market makers are planning. They're very manipulative. They have very big tricks up their sleeves, so be very careful. If you look at comparisons between the SPY and NIO, overall, there's a big similarity in their price actions. And also, you can see the price-price ratio. It came down for quite a bit of time, but I do expect this to start coming up if NIO does get a big reversal. As far as technicals go, lots of buying pressure has been coming in, and we are in a phase right now where Fridays tend to be green days for NIO. So hopefully we get a nice green day tomorrow. Now, as far as the technicals go as well, I want to show you guys this. If we zoom way out in the chart, all right, go back a couple of weeks. When the market crashed around that May to June period, NIO hit a bottom of 11.66. And we came super close to that at 11.95 just today alone. And we actually ended up getting a big bounce off 11.66 the last time we hit that. We had a big rally afterwards. So if the markets are ready to pump, if we are going to see markets like continue to rally and push up more, there is potential for NIO to get a big reversal and come back to the 13s super quickly. Then we have a lot of gaps to the upside. So NIO could come all the way up to the 14s very fast if we truly are ready for that reversal. So we need more confirmation for it. But we have this gap up here at around 14.7. I could see NIO filling this gap if we get a break above 14. But first, we have to break past 13 first. So what I want to see is, if the market continues to rally, if the market continues to hold up, NIO needs to, in my opinion, push above $13, hold 13 and enter this chop zone around 13 to 13.3, get a break above that and retest 14. If we could do this in the next couple of days, there's a good chance NIO is going to fill the gap and then start to rally to $14, $15, $16 and continue to push from there. So I do see potential for a midterm rally. I do think NIO could push up. I'm more bullish than bearish seeing this setup and the way the SPY is looking. So get ready, guys, but be prepared for anything in case these market makers are trying to trick us again. But anyways, thank you all for listening. Please have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. And please note that the future of NIO, the future is still very bright. We have lots of bullish catalysts coming out for the long-term future. The Fed, in my opinion, is going to pivot in the future. We just don't know exactly when. And the markets, I mean, I wouldn't say the markets are necessarily perfect, but at the same time, there is some room for upside. The market could get these temporary bear market rallies every now and then. Elections can play a big role, so be ready for it. And I just wanted to put it out there, all right? So for NIO, I'm anticipating a nice move into the 13s. I want to see this thing hold $13 just for now. Let's take some baby steps. And if this thing gets lots of volume, like if NIO is ready to continue the previous pattern, which is it starts to rally after the markets rally like a day after, that's a sign that NIO may explode very, very soon. And we could see NIO hit the 14s, then 15s, and make explosive moves. So with that said, thank you all for listening. Have a great day. Be ready. Watch your technical indicators very carefully. And I will see you guys in the next video. NIO to the moon, and peace out.